What's going on, baseball fans? How you doing tonight? Liam Hendriks is going to the White Sox. It only seems like a matter of time before Andrew Benintendi is on the move. And do the Red Sox have some more moves up their sleeve? Let's get into it. And what is going on, baseball fans? How you doing tonight? Just clicked the wrong button by accident. Sorry about that. Everyone, how you doing? We got 49 people in the chat right now. Hope you're all doing good. Hope you all had a good Tuesday. I'm pretty tired today. I'm not going to lie. My hip is killing me. I did some squats earlier, and my hip is just trashed right now. I'm limping around my apartment like I'm an old man. But that will not stop me from bringing you the news. So no matter what, when there's news, I'm going to give it to you. So, everyone, how are you doing? Thank you, everyone. I appreciate that you liked the intro. I changed that up yesterday. Really wanted to kind of spruce it up a little bit. So, I want to get you all, in this kind of boring offseason. We've had a few good moves here and there. But for the most part, it's been a boring offseason. So, I wanted to make that intro a little more exciting, get you a little more revved up to talk some baseball. So, alrighty, seeing a lot of familiar faces. Moderators Jackson and AJ, thank you for coming by tonight. Really appreciate that. Got 57 people in the chat right now. Alrighty, everyone, hope you're doing good. We got a few things to talk about tonight, and I figured I had to wear the Red Sox jersey tonight because, I think this might be the first stream where Red Sox news actually dominates the news. I don't think, I wasn't doing this last year when Mookie Betts got traded. Could you imagine if I was doing this last year with Mookie Betts? Oh man, that would have been quite fun. Anyway, but we got a lot of Red Sox stuff to talk tonight. We're going to talk Liam Hendriks. How funny is that? As soon as the stream ended last night, Liam Hendriks decides to sign with the White Sox. Are you kidding me? Come on. You couldn't have announced this signing like maybe 10 minutes prior? Oh, I was like laying down. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I just got done with the stream. But hey, we can talk about it now. We're going to talk Liam Hendriks. We're going to talk Red Sox. We're going to talk Andrew Benintendi. We're going to talk a little Brad Hand. We're going to talk some Phillies. And, but yeah, so everyone, hope you're all doing good. Hope you're ready to talk some baseball. So let's get into it right away. Like I said, this was reported last night. Liam Hendriks going to the White Sox. What a move for the White Sox. I put a poll up on my YouTube last night when this happened. And I asked, let me pull up the poll real quick. Here we go, sharing the screen. So I asked last night, how close is this poll? Wow. 521 votes, and it is just almost right down the middle. How close of a poll is that? How close is that? Are you kidding me? So I asked, the White Sox have signed Liam Hendriks. Do you think the White Sox are now the team to beat in the American League? Are you kidding me? 49% to 51%? You guys are nuts. But this is a huge signing for the White Sox nonetheless. This is definitely a head-turner. Liam Hendriks has been one, if not the best reliever in baseball in the last few years. So let's go take a look at the story. Here we go. So this was who first reported this? There's so much going on with this. It looks like Tim Brown of Yahoo Sports was the first one to report this. I mean, you had guys like Mark Feinsand, Jeff Passan. So a few guys reported this. but it looks like Tim Brown was the first one. But it's a big deal here. It's kind of an interesting deal with Liam Hendriks. It's going to be, when people saw the $54 million, people were like, whoa. I mean, that is a record number for a reliever. That's for guaranteed money. That is a record for a reliever. And honestly, Hendriks has been that good in the last couple of years. Whoa, we got something happening. What is going on? Banana comes through with a $2 super chat. I am feeling generous because I am a Sox fan. Bauer to the Sox. Are you a White Sox fan or a Red Sox fan? I think you're a White Sox. Oh, yeah, you're a White Sox fan because you were going crazy in the... Oh, wait, was that you? Were you the one that was like really excited last night when this happened? Yeah, you were. Yeah, big White Sox fan. Banana, thank you so much for the $2. But... huge signing. Let's go take a look at what exactly you're getting with a Liam Hendriks. I mean, we all know how good he is, but let's just go take a look at why he is so good. Take a look at the ERA, a 1.78 ERA. He's going to give you a ton of strikeouts. This guy is just so nasty. The way he can just pinpoint on the corners with a 98, 99 mile an hour fastball, that's just dirty. It's dirty. So... but it's not just last year. If you go take a look, in the last couple of years, this guy has been out of his mind. He has really figured something out in the last couple of years. He's been really using that velocity to his advantage in the last couple of years. He's able to paint the corners. But taking a look, 1.79 ERA over his last 99 games. Look at the FIP, a 1.70, 13 strikeouts per 9. I mean, come on. What else is there to say? This guy's insane. He's out of his mind. You know what? Let's just dive even further into Liam Hendriks. Have I looked up Hendriks on here? I feel like I did in one stream. You're going to see reds all over the board. Except for the exit velocity. When he does give up some hits, the exit velocity's been pretty high. But besides that, he doesn't give up many hard hit balls. He's not going to, I mean, just look at what you got here. Tons of spin rate on the fastball, tons of velocity, tons of whiffs. xWOB is really good. xERA is really good. The expected numbers are really good. Liam Hendriks, this guy has just been out of his mind. If you go take a look at his pitches, this four-seamer has 3.2 inches compared to the average more of vertical movement. So he has a bit of rise in his fastball, and so he has a lot of life on that fastball. And that's what makes him so good. When you have a lot of spin like that, it's going to create that vertical movement. And that's just, first off, let's just say this. If you were in a batting cage, right, 99 miles an hour getting thrown at you, that's already very difficult to see. And then you add a lot of spin rate to it. I mean, this is why he's just so difficult to hit. If you take a look at his average velocity last year, he was averaging 96 miles an hour last year. This guy is really good. He's going to throw mostly heat, but he'll come at you with a slider sometimes. He'll throw the occasional curveball. But taking a look here, Hendriks, he likes to live in the higher part of the plate. So he really comes after guys. And that's his mentality. He has even talked about it. That's kind of one of the things that's just made him so good. He's even said before, he really likes coming out of the bullpen because it just fits his mentality a lot better. When he said he was a starting pitcher, he used to kind of overthink things. He used to kind of, nitpick a lot. But when he became a reliever, that's when he really started to settle in. And it's really shown, and now he's getting the big payday that he really deserves. This guy, he really came from, if you look at early on in his career, going back to his time with the Twins, look at him with the Twins. He had a 6.17 ERA. In 2011. Are we lagging? Uh-oh. Everyone, are we doing all right? It looked like my stream was lagging. All right, looks like we're okay now. Okay, so taking a look with the Twins. So from 2011 to 2013, his first 3 years, this guy had a 6.06 ERA. He was barely striking out guys. I mean, this guy was really just like, what the heck was going on with this guy? Look at the stats right there. And then he kind of started to maybe figure it out. He had another pretty bad year in 2014. He went to the Royals, started to kind of work on some things. And then he went to Toronto. And it looked like from there, that's when he started to really focus on throwing out of the bullpen. He didn't have any starts that year compared to the years prior. So that's when he really started to just kind of hone his craft in the bullpen. Why can't I click on this? What is going on? So, yeah, 2015. Oh, my goodness. Baseball Reference, you are killing me right now. So, 2015 did really good. And then he went to Oakland, really solid. A lot of strikeouts, still about 10 strikeouts per 9. And then the ERA was still a little high in 2017. But if you look at the FIP was still really good back then too. Good amount of strikeouts. 2018, the strikeouts took a dip. ERA and FIP was not very good. But then 2019, he really, really came into his own. This guy was just out of his mind in 2019, and then he's just been out of his mind ever since then. So, big payday for Liam Hendriks. I love this move. I want to actually real quick go take a look at the White Sox bullpen. And then I also want to go take a look at kind of how the White Sox did without him last year. So if we take a look at 2020, here we go. So they had Alex Colomé as their closer, so that is already an upgrade right there. No disrespect to Alex Colomé. He gets the job done, and I think he's going to get himself a pretty decent contract as well. But Liam Hendriks, man, this is an obvious upgrade. So if you take a look at where the White Sox ranked in relief pitching, let me make sure I have relievers. Yep. So they ranked 8th last year. This is a bullpen that's on track to be one of the better bullpens in the game. I mean, right here in ERA, a 3.76 ERA out of the bullpen. FIP, where did they rank here? So, FIP last year, they ranked 3rd. So that's already really good. And now, oh, no, I'm looking at the Athletics. Sorry. I'm thinking Liam Hendriks is still on the Athletics. The White Sox ranked 8th. And, I mean, hey, that's a top 10 bullpen last year. If you take a look at the strikeouts per 9. Nothing special with the White Sox, 18th. But now you're getting a Liam Hendriks, so you're definitely going to get a boost in the strikeouts with that bullpen. But let's go take a look at that bullpen real quick. Looking at this depth chart right now, you got some names in this bullpen. You have an Evan Marshall. Matt Foster did pretty good last year. I really like Garrett Crochet. This is a guy they just drafted out of the University of Tennessee. He's already hitting triple digits from the left side. How nasty is that? If Crochet can come into his own this year, if he ends up being a breakout guy for the White Sox this year out of that bullpen, you got 100 miles an hour coming from the left side, and then you go to Liam Hendriks at the end of the game. I mean, come on. I mean, Aaron Bummer, he's going to get a lot of ground balls. You got some decent names in this bullpen. Let's actually go look at the stats on this bullpen from last year. So if we take a look, Evan Marshall was the leading guy. Had a good year. Good amount of strikeouts. So Alex Colomé, no, he's probably not going back. But then you had Cody Hewer. He did really good. Matt Foster did really good. I mean, so Aaron Bummer had a really good year too. I mean, he only pitched 9 innings, but look at the strikeouts. And this is a guy that gets a lot of ground balls. The walks need to kind of go down a little bit. Looking at Garrett Crochet, he didn't give up 1 run this past year. 5 games and 6 innings. And you got to think, those are his first professional games of his career. He didn't even go to the minor leagues. He got drafted, and then he went to the alternate camp, and then he came up with the White Sox. That's insane. So, Garrett Crochet, that's going to be a big arm. Imagine if they get Michael Kopech back. I mean, I'm not sure. I haven't really heard too much about him. This White Sox bullpen could be really good. This could be a top 10, like easily a top 10 bullpen. Definitely could be a top 5 bullpen. So, I think we all can agree this is a great move for the White Sox. But now the question is, I mean, this is going to be kind of hard to say. Are they now the team to beat? Well, you still have a whole offseason here. I mean, there's really been nothing happening this offseason. I complain about it all the time. But the White Sox, they have really, really, made some moves. They got Lance Lynn, the number 2 guy. They got Adam Eaton for right field. They've now got a closer, an upgrade at closer in Liam Hendriks. The White Sox are making all the right moves, and they got a new manager in Tony La Russa. I know that's not been exactly the best move with his off the field stuff, but At the end of the day, it's still Tony La Russa. I liked the signing a lot, but overall, this White Sox team, they're looking really good, and they're trending on the right path. In that American League, you got some competition in that American League. You know, it's not just going to be the Yankees now. You got the Yankees. I mean, the Rays are still going to be the Rays. But now you have the White Sox. What are the Astros going to do? I mean, this American League is wide open. I mean, you still got teams like the Athletics hanging around. What are the Twins going to do this offseason? Are they going to make some upgrades? But right now, you have to be a big believer in the White Sox, and this is a huge move. So I love this move. So before I move on to my next story, I'm going to see what you guys are talking about in the chat. Not already. Bodie Maudlin, I don't know about Mike Trout going to the Tigers. I don't know about that. Oh, maybe Mike Trout to Real Madrid. I could see that. I could definitely see that. John Paul Morosi, breaking news. The Toronto Blue Jays are close to a deal with Justin Turner. Are you pulling my leg? Are you pulling my leg on that? Kit Kat Kid, as a fellow Red Sox fan, I think we should give Benny Bang Bang, Benny Biceps, Benny Big Bomb, Benny Ball Game, Benny... Trying to think, what's another one? I can't think of another one. Should get another chance. I wouldn't be opposed at all to another chance with Andrew Benintendi. I think Andrew Benintendi, I think there is a bounce back year in there. I mean, 2020, that's such a difficult year to really assess. He had a down year in 2020. He was starting to trend down. He was starting to trend down in 2019 as well. But 2018, 2017 had solid years. Ever since that 2017 season, though, he has been kind of trending a bit down. I'd say maybe more after 2018. But Benintendi, he's got to do something to figure it out. We'll have to wait and see what ends up happening with him. And you know what? I think that's a great segue into our next story. And, I mean, because it is about Andrew Benintendi, it's looking like he could be on the move rather soon. So that's our next story. Andrew Benintendi, possibly a trade, getting close. Possibly getting close. And as a Red Sox fan, I'm not surprised, but I'm also surprised at the same time. So with Andrew Benintendi, like I said, he's been trending down, and we'll go look at the stats here in a second and kind of see what exactly has been happening with Andrew Benintendi. I broke it down last night as well. But with Andrew Benintendi, I'm not surprised because, hey, maybe he does need a change of scenery. The Red Sox are looking to kind of retool a little bit. They're trying to improve that farm system. They're trying to kind of start beefing it back up again. And Benintendi, but where I am surprised at a little bit is because while Benintendi, he still has some value, he's not going to have a ton of value. So, and we'll go look at that, and we'll go look at why right now. So let's pull up his stats real quick. But let me actually kind of give you, before I get into the stats, let's take a look at just what's been going on today in talks. So there's been some updates all day today. So this was originally last night. I talked about this on my stream last night. So it says here, the Red Sox have been in serious trade talks about the possibility of moving left fielder Andrew Benintendi. That was according to Jim Bowden over the weekend. Jim Bowden, throughout his career, at least from what I remember, he has not been the most accurate. So I was a little skeptical about this, but it looks like it has been getting more serious. So as of today at 12:30, the Astros, Athletics, and Rangers have all been in touch with the Red Sox about Benintendi. Sean McAdam of the Boston Sports Journal reports. So a source tells McAdam that Benintendi could be on the move soon, though it won't be to the Marlins, another club previously linked. So the Marlins were actually in on Benintendi. That was also another report. So it said here, the Marlins are among the teams that have discussed outfielder Andrew Benintendi, and that was also according to Jim Bowden of The Athletic. If we actually just go to this link right here, did Sean McAdam say anything else? So it says here, one industry source believes an Andrew Benintendi deal could happen soon, but it won't be with Miami. That's not happening, according to him. Others who've checked in, Texas, Houston, and Oakland. Pittsburgh could also be a fit as well. because of that Ben Cherington connection. So Ben Cherington, he used to work with the Red Sox. So yeah, he was there when the Red Sox drafted him. So there's a lot of different things that can happen here with an Andrew Benintendi. But then also, taking a look, hold on, let's go pull up Andrew Benintendi's stats. So before I start kind of getting into some trade possibilities with Andrew Benintendi, I want to just take a look at what exactly has been going on with him. So if you take a look here, he finished second in Rookie of the Year voting in 2017. Let me move my screen over just a little. Okay, let's see if that helps. So, second in Rookie of the Year voting. Nope, you still can't see the year. Can you see it now? Let's see if that works. All right, now we can see. So, 2017 Rookie of the Year, finished second. Had a good year. 20 home runs, 90 RBIs, a 271 average. Had the 776 OPS. That could have been better, but hey, for a rookie season, that's not bad. 2018, he improved. An 830 OPS. Had the 16 homers, had the 87 RBIs, so he was trending in the right direction from there. But after 2018, going into 2019, there was a lot of expectations for Benintendi. People had seen how good he improved in 2018, but then 2019, he took a bit of a dive. Everything dropped. He went kind of back to that OPS of 2017, down to a 774. The on base was still pretty good, but the slugging went down. He had a lot more strikeouts. The home runs went down. The RBIs went down. Benintendi, less total bases. Everything went down. And then 2020 was just completely a miserable year. A completely miserable year. He only played 14 games. Hit 103. 442 OPS. It was basically a lost season. He had something. I think he hurt his oblique at one point. But this doesn't tell the whole story of Andrew Benintendi. Let's take a look at the advanced numbers with Baseball Savant. So we kind of looked at this last night, but just to kind of give you all a refresher on what I was talking about. So Andrew Benintendi, it looked like, according to the advanced numbers, that he really started to try and hit for more power. If you look at 2019, his exit velocity went up. His barrel percentage went up. He had much more of a launch angle. Look at the increase of the launch angle. He went from around 14, averaging 14 and a half in the first couple of years, to 2018. Look at how much the launch angle was at, 12.8. So that's more of like a line drive kind of a launch angle. And then 2019, he was averaging almost 5 inches more. That's 5 feet more. So that is a big time increase. So that shows me he was trying to get under the ball more. He was trying to hit more home runs. I mean, taking a look at the exit velocity went up by about a half of a mile an hour. The barrel percentage went up. If you take a look though, and also his hard hit percentage went up. But then look at the strikeouts. The strikeouts went up. The walks went down. So he was trying to hit for more power. And I just think he really got himself messed up. I think he kind of got himself into some bad habits. And I think his swing just got completely messed up. And I think what he needs to do, he needs to go back to the Andrew Benintendi of old, where he focuses more on line drives, where he focuses more on hitting balls into the gaps. I think that really messed with him. And I think that kind of really took him out of whack. And then combine that with the spring training that we had this year. It was canceled. And then you had, everyone going to having like a 3-week mini camp. So many guys had down years this year, but then when you put this kind of a guy who could be falling into bad habits from the previous year, and then you throw him into that kind of a situation, that just has a mess written all over it. So it's, so maybe he needs to kind of start fresh. Another thing to take a look at too, looking at his sprint speed. Look at the sprint speed. That is also another sign. Does it have... Here we go. Look at the sprint speed. It's been dropping. He's gotten slower. So if you look at 2016, he was averaging 28.6 feet per second. And then it dropped a tick, not really a lot. But then he started going down in 2018. Then he went down in 2019. And then he went down again in 2020. And sprint speed, that is not great for an outfielder. That's not good. Maybe for an infielder, fine. But for an outfielder, that's not great. I know he's in left, but still, I mean, when you're getting slower, that's not good. So it sounds like he probably put on some weight in 2019. He got slower because he tried to hit for more power. And then everything is just out of whack. I think Andrew Benintendi, I'm not saying he's in bad shape. The dude's called Benny Biceps for a reason. He's in good shape. But I think he really just tried to become more of like this power hitter. I mean, what do I know? But that's kind of just what I took from it. So that's not a great sign when the sprint speed is falling. So that just shows me that you're not as athletic as you used to be. So Benintendi, I can understand why maybe the Red Sox are thinking, all right, let's try and trade him now just in case he really falls off the face of the earth. And maybe a team, they can see the potential in an Andrew Benintendi. So today, I came up with a whole bunch of trades. Came up with a whole bunch of trade ideas. Let's go take a look at baseball trade values. I was on here quite a bit today, and I was coming up with a lot of trades. So again, what I was talking about last night, if you missed last night's stream, last night I was kind of going over some trades where Benintendi, the value is not going to be very high. It's not going to be very high because again, we kind of just went over. He's been diminishing every single year. He's all out of whack right now, but there still is a little bit of value in an Andrew Benintendi. He's only 26 years old. There is still a good player in there. So taking a look, I came up with a few trades. Let's start off with the Pirates here. This is kind of the trade I think you're going to see. I think the Red Sox, they're looking for pitching and they're looking for outfield help, according to reports. So we came up with this first one with the Pirates. They just drafted Cameron Mrazinski in this year's past draft. So maybe that's a possibility where, a mid-tier pitching prospect, he can possibly end up having a pretty good career. Maybe the Red Sox take a chance on him. And then you get infielder Kevin Kramer. So they could maybe look at him to play at second. This coming year, they don't have a second baseman. So as of right now, it looks like this trade, it's got 6 up votes and it's got 4 down votes. So, hey, at least not everyone hates it. So that's a good sign. Then I also came up with a 3-team trade. And this was another one that I kind of want to mix into the news here. And that, let me pull that up real quick. And that's Wilson Contreras. We're going to do a bit of a mini segue here. And Wilson Contreras, the Marlins were showing interest in Wilson Contreras. No one really saw this coming, I think. But it says here the Marlins have had discussions with the Cubs about catcher Wilson Contreras, according to Craig Mish of Sports Grid. I have never heard of Sports Grid in my entire life. But there isn't any sense that a trade might be close, as Mish describes the situation as very fluid, considering how the Cubs have big decisions to make across the board. So, hey, this is a guy that the Marlins could possibly take on. He's not making a lot of money. He's still young. He can help out their team this year. They could use an upgrade at catcher. So getting back to this, I came up with a 3-team trade. And you know what? I think maybe this could benefit all 3 teams. Taking a look here. The Red Sox, so for the Marlins, they would get Benintendi here. And then they would also get Wilson Contreras from the Cubs. Going to the Red Sox, they would get a package of guys. You would get John Birdie, who they can plug in at second base. You would get Edward Cabrera, a top pitching prospect with the Marlins. Not a top guy, but he's in there. And let's actually take a look at the top prospects. And then real quick, let me actually just go over where Carmen Mrazinski was. But looking at the Marlins, this trade I just went over, Edward Cabrera is the number 6 guy, and I'll talk about why the Red Sox would get him in this trade that I proposed. But with the Pirates, if you're just doing Andrew Benintendi to the Pirates, Carmen Mrazinski was the number 9 prospect there. Again, he was just drafted, so that's a possibility. Maybe. I don't know. What do I know? But if we get back here, looking at this trade overall, the Red Sox, again, they would get Birdie. They would get Edward Cabrera. He's the number 9 prospect. Was he number 9? No, he was number 6. So let me get back to the Marlins here. So Edward Cabrera, number 6, hard-throwing guy from the right side. They would also get Mesa from the Marlins, I believe. Wait, what just happened to that list? There we go. Mesa, I believe. Or maybe he's on the Cubs. Oh, no. Wait, was he on the Cubs? That's Mesa Jr. Oh, I can't remember if he was on the Cubs. I think that was Mesa Jr. Yeah, it was Mesa Jr. So in here, they didn't put Jr. But yeah, getting to the Marlins. So again, with a Mesa Jr., this is the number 28 prospect. So he's pretty far away, only 19 years old, so a lot of upside there. And then they would get Underwood Jr. So Underwood Jr., hold on real quick. So Dwayne Underwood Jr. Oh, no, he's on the Cubs. He's on the Cubs. And, sorry, there's a lot of moving pieces going on here. So Dwayne Underwood Jr., he's with the Cubs. He's pitched now for a couple of years, mainly out of that bullpen. So this could be maybe an arm for the bullpen. Possible. I don't know. Then if you actually go look at Baseball Savant, I believe there was something here I liked about him. Dwayne Whoop. So this is, I think I can't fully remember. I looked at this today. I was looking at so many players today. Look at the popularity going up 91%. But this guy, this is a kind of a guy where I could see maybe a Chaim Bloom going after. You know, not really great expected numbers as of right now, but he's got a high K percentage. He's got a good walk percentage, good velocity, averaging 94 miles an hour. However, what was the one thing that I saw with him? Oh, it was the changeup. So he has a pretty good changeup. So according to Baseball Savant, he averages 1.6 inches more than the average changeup. So maybe Chaim Bloom could see something with that, and maybe he can be a young arm for that bullpen. This is a kind of a guy I could see Chaim Bloom kind of looking at a guy like this. So that's why I plugged him into this trade. So, but then for the Marlins, again, the Marlins would be getting like the big package here, Benintendi and Contreras. But for the Red Sox to be able to get this big package, and for the Marlins to get what they're going to get, the Red Sox would have to help them out, the Cubs. They would have to send Tristan Casas, one of their top prospects, and then the Marlins would have to send over Banfield, their number 30 prospect. He's a catcher, and then Guzman. So Guzman is their number 26 prospect. So I think this is a pretty decent trade. Let's see how it's doing right now with the votes. All right, so it's got 6 up votes, and it's got 5 down votes. So people are pretty split on this one. So I don't know. Tell me what you think in the chat. I think this could be a really good trade for all sides. The Marlins, they get a young catcher. They get Benintendi, who can start fresh. The Cubs, they get some young players. The Red Sox, they get a second baseman. And they get a package of young players as well. So, Zachary Goldstein, this is baseball trade values. So, again, you know, I don't know. I like Edward Cabrera a lot. He's got a lot of velocity. I know Chaim Bloom likes the velocity. I also came up with this other one with the same 3 teams. So, for the Red Sox, again, Marlins getting Benintendi and Contreras. The Cubs, they would still get Casas, and they would also get Garrett from the Marlins. Garrett is right now, Braxton Garrett, the number 7 prospect. So he would go over to the Cubs. Actually, can you see him? So he's a left-hander. He's just about major league ready. So, and then going back to the trade for the Red Sox, they would get a couple more. So basically the Marlins are dishing out prospects all over the place. The Red Sox would still have to send over Casas to kind of help fill the gaps. But the Red Sox, they would get an outfield prospect in Burdick. So Burdick, he is right now Peyton Burdick, the number 16 prospect. So outfielder. Got some upside. And then they would also still get Edward Cabrera in this trade. Again, I like Edward Cabrera. That's a kind of a guy. He's got a lot of velocity. I could see Chaim Bloom going after a guy like this. So that's the trade that I came up with there. Moving on to the next one. I came up with one with the Rangers. This one was not liked at all. I mean, I can understand. It's not really it's not really the most fun one, but Andrew Benintendi going to the Rangers. In return, the Red Sox would get Liam Hendriks and Eli White. So if you take a look here, I got so many things open right now. I can't see. So going to the Rangers' top prospects. All right, so this would be, he would be the number 17 prospect. He's a hard-throwing guy. He's a little undersized at 5'10", kind of reminds me like a Marcus Stroman. So he's only 20 years old, but he's got a good fastball, a 60-rated fastball on here, and a above-average slider, solid changeup, so good control. But yeah, so Liam Hendriks, and then the other guy was Eli White. Eli White. I can't remember. Was he... Where? I keep losing these prospects. So Eli White. I think he was actually a reliever. Oh, no, he was a second baseman. I'm sorry. So Eli White, you could maybe get him. Maybe he can split some time over at second base. So only 26 years old. Not too much value here. But, hey, you know what? This is kind of something where I could maybe see Bloom going after him. Let's go take a look at Baseball Savant. Again, Bloom kind of looks... I actually didn't look at Eli White. But you can see... Chaim Bloom likes to kind of look for these diamonds in the rough. Guys you just never hear of. But let's take a look. Eli White, he's got a lot of speed. Take a look here. Again, they're not really showing much when it comes to the rankings, but he's got a ton of speed. Look at that sprint speed in the top 2%. It's really good. So if we take a look, overall for the year, I mean, he only hit 188. Let's actually take a look here. Can I expand that? Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, so he's only had one season, 2020. So, again, didn't really do much, had a lot of strikeouts. I mean, again, but I don't know, maybe this is someone that Bloom takes a look at. If we take a look at the exit velocity, I mean, you know, not bad. 88 exit velocity, 15.4 long check. Whoa, we got a super chat. What is going on? Whoa! Oh, my God! Whoa! Jeff Graw, oh, my God! Oh! I just fell off my chair! Oh, my God! Jeff Graw! I fell off my chair! Oh, my God! What just happened? My desk just moved. I almost flipped my whole desk over. Holy crap. Did you guys hear that? I literally fell off my chair. Whoa. Holy crap. I literally just tipped backwards in my chair. I went to roll and my wheel got caught on something. And I almost got CTE. Wow. Jeff Graw, man. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. That really means a lot, man. That's wow. That's the second $100 donation I've ever gotten. You guys are awesome, man. Jeff Graw, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Really. That really makes this, I mean it's already worth it, you know, just coming on here to talk to you guys, but then, you know, seeing something like that, the generosity, really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming out tonight. So, yeah, man. Again, thank you. So, where was I? I just got a concussion from falling off in my chair. I might not be able to do the rest of this stream. I'm pretty sure I got a concussion. I'm kidding. I don't have a concussion. But getting back to the trade possibilities, we got Eli White. Maybe this could be a possibility here. I could see Chaim Bloom going after a guy like this. And he plays second, so he can fill in. for that void at second base. So, or at least they can try him out. Going back, so I got a lot of trades here. We got one with the Athletics. This one was not liked at all. So it looks like, according to baseball trade values, people on here don't like these trades. So on this one, I got Greg Deichmann and Grant Holmes. Taking a look here. I kind of wonder, I don't think he would be a great fit with the Athletics. Because they already have Kana out there. They already got Laureano. And then out in right, I'm going blank on who they have out in right. Who do they have out in right? They don't have Grossman anymore. Who's out in right field? Help me out. Help me out in the chat. Who's the Athletics right fielder? I'm going Piscotty. That's right, Piscotty. I was going so blank on that. I was about to look up the depth charts. But anyway, let's go take a look at the depth chart for the Athletics. They kind of have a bit of a log jam. You got, no, they would put Mark Kana out there. I would imagine they would put Kana, I'd imagine they put him. Why do they have him here? Why do they have Tony Kemp? I think Kana would be the guy, right? But then out in right, you got Piscotty. So, yeah, I don't know if he really fits, but whatever. I came up with the trade anyway. Again, I kind of just, looked at Greg Deichmann, outfielder, someone like that, number 14 prospect for the Athletics, and then Grant Holmes as well. Moving on down the list. I came up with this other trade with the Astros. I could see the Astros maybe making a trade for Benintendi. Maybe Brian Abreu, their number 3 pitching prospect. Blake Taylor, an arm out of the bullpen, young arm for the bullpen. I could see Chaim Bloom going after him as well. Actually, let me look up a Blake Taylor. Mr. Blake Taylor. Okay, I cannot type. Here we go. Blake Taylor. Wow, 94% increase in popularity. So people are starting to look him up as well. But Blake Taylor, man, he really shows a lot of good numbers. I wonder if the Astros would want to part with him. I don't know. Averages 94 miles an hour on that fastball. Throws a lot of fastballs from the left side. Has a slider. If you take a look at the movement. Do they have the movement on his pitches? Oh, here we go. So the slider, pretty good. Averages 1.6 inches more than the average slider in the league. So, yeah. But Blake Taylor, maybe someone like that. A prospect and a guy for the bullpen. I could see something like that. Moving on. Let's actually take I think I have maybe 2 more trades. I got 3 more trades. Actually, I got a lot of trades. I'm not going to go through all these because you guys are going to get sick and tired of it. Actually, these people kind of started to like these trades. But I came up with one for the Reds, Joe Boyle, TJ Friedel, and Riley O'Brien. So again, these are 3 high upside guys that maybe you could see. So if we take a look, let's look at Riley O'Brien. He is the number 15 prospect, right-hander on the right side, right-hander, number 15 in their system. 60 fastball, an above average slider. 6'4", so he's got a good build. So he's, sits in the mid to low, or the low to mid 90s for the most part. He's got good spin rates on his fastball. He's got a swing and a miss pitch as a slider. So it says here, though, his control and command are both below average, but he is athletic. He has a clean arm action, so he has the potential to clean things up. But yeah, someone like that. The next guy that I had TJ Friedel. This was the number 19 prospect, an outfielder who's in AAA at the moment. This guy's got a lot of speed. He's good in the field. I could see Chaim Bloom going after a guy like this. It says here, the Reds left Friedel exposed in the Rule 5 draft, but he wasn't taken. He also wasn't invited to big league camp for 2020 like he was in 19. but he still has several tools that could make him a strong fourth outfielder or a platoon guy in the majors. Hey, you know how the Rays were with their platoon guys? You know, maybe Chaim Bloom would like someone like that, but maybe Chaim Bloom sees something in a guy like this. But then taking a look at one more, there was, Joe Boyle. Joe Boyle was the number 26 prospect in their system. He's a rookie. I believe he was just drafted. Yeah, he was just drafted in the 5th round. He has probably some of the best velocity from this year's draft, an 80 fastball. That's as high as you can get on the scouting reports. An 80 fastball. He's got a 55 slider with it. He has the best pure arm strength in the 2020 draft. His fastball reached 102 miles an hour in the Northwoods League. Hit 101 in the Atlantic Coast Conference and in the Cape. So Boyle can overpower hitters with an upper 80s slider, but has yet to show much of a third pitch. Has a huge 6'7" frame. So, I could see Chaim Bloom going after a guy like this. He's kind of like an enigma kind of a guy. He's just got a huge fastball. I could see Bloom going after that. So, I don't know. This is a possibility. There's a whole bunch of possibilities here with Andrew Benintendi. I mean, there's so many different places he can go. I also saw this today. I want to pull this up real quick. I saw this. It was, where was it? It was, hold on. It was, I don't remember the website. I'll just have to Google it. Benintendi, I saw something with the Phillies. I don't know. I don't think this is going to work because I don't believe this. This is something I'm not buying. So it says here the Phillies are reportedly discussing a trade for Benintendi. The Phillies appear motivated to upgrade their outfield. So, I can see this. They were connected with Jackie Bradley Jr. for one hot second. And I could see that. Jackie Bradley Jr., he's a proven center fielder. But that's a center fielder. Andrew Benintendi is not a center fielder. This is according to Gabriel Starr on the Locked On Podcast Network. I'll tell you right now, I'm not trying to bash on this, but she just has a podcast. I don't really know how much inside information she has. I'm not trying to trash on her, but she tweeted this out today. It was, hold on, let me pull up the tweet. Just heard the Phillies have talked to the Red Sox about Benintendi for center fielder Mickey Moniak and a AAA arm. I don't buy this. I don't buy that. Where have you heard this? I even tweeted at her. I said, hey, where did you hear this? Where did you hear this? I don't see Mickey Moniak. You just drafted him number 1 overall in 2016. Huh? What? He just debuted. He literally just debuted. I get it, but I understand. It does work. If you take a look, if I plug in a I think Mickey Moniak, man, I don't what his let me pull up. Let me just show you. If you go here, so do Benintendi. It does work on paper. It does work. So I'm not discrediting this story. I'm just wondering if she said she heard it, I want to know who told her this. I just really don't see this. I mean, on the numbers, it does work. It does. You could switch these guys. You could kind of just flip-flop them. But the question I have here, and maybe the Red Sox could, you could throw in a picture here. So the difference there, I don't know. I mean, you're looking at around 2 points. 1.5, 2 points. So, I don't know. You could maybe, I don't know if I go to the top prospects for the Phillies. But I'm going to tell you in a second why I just don't think this is going to work. Or at least I don't think it's that serious. So if I take a look at the Phillies' top prospects, Moniak, right now. He's the number 12 prospect. So I'm guessing he has not fared very well in his career in the minor leagues. So his on base has not been very good. He had a good rookie season, or a good season in rookie ball. But then he has kind of struggled since, advancing through the minor leagues. He's got some pop, but like the average has been down. He has not hit very well in the minor leagues. So I could see maybe the Phillies he hasn't really shown too much in the minor leagues. So maybe, it's two guys that maybe need a fresh start somewhere. These are both left-handed bats. I just find it interesting because it's like, I don't know. Like, hold on. So let's pull up the Phillies depth chart. The Phillies, if they are going to get a center fielder, and I'm not saying this couldn't happen. I'm just kind of having a hard time processing like what the Phillies are trying to do here. Again, is it that Dave Dombrowski connection because he was there while Andrew Benintendi was there? Is that what this is all about? But you got Andrew McCutchen for left field. I believe he's a free agent after this year. Or does he have 2 more years left? So there's a team option for 2022. So the Phillies definitely, I could see them maybe going for Benintendi if they're looking towards 2022 as well. That's another thing I could see. So, but for right now, Benintendi doesn't really have a home. Left field, McCutchen's a left fielder. McCutchen can't slide over to center. He's no longer a center fielder. And Benintendi's not a center fielder anyway. I hear people say all the time he could be a serviceable center fielder. He's not. He has not shown good numbers defensively out in center field. And we looked at the sprint speed earlier. His sprint speed has been falling. He would not be a good fit in center field. Benintendi would not fit here. Yes, you could upgrade center field, but you're not moving McCutchen to center field, and you're not moving Benintendi to center field. So that's why I could see them maybe going after like a Jackie Bradley Jr. But then you also got Adam Hazley. This is a guy that was just drafted in the top 10 3 years ago. He was the number 8 pick. He showed some decent stuff. He had a 348 on base. He didn't have any home runs. So, he's not really much of a power hitter. But I don't know. He wasn't bad in 2019. But he's 24 years old. I could maybe see the Moniak thing, but you have Hazley already. I don't know. You're not getting a center fielder here in Benintendi. You're getting a left fielder. That's what Benintendi is. So I just don't see this very much with the Phillies. So I don't know. I don't see it. I keep saying that. I just don't see it. I don't see the Phillies actually making a move. And if they do, it'll be surprising. I just kind of think Benintendi doesn't really fit there. I think other teams would like to take a chance on a Benintendi, but it's not a bad thing for the Phillies to be at least checking in on it. Hey, that's what good baseball teams, that's what good front offices need to do. They need to check in on everyone. How funny would that be if Dave Dombrowski and Chaim Bloom made a trade? That'd be kind of hilarious, honestly. I would find that kind of funny. But that's kind of what we're looking at here with Andrew Benintendi. You're looking at not too much value. You're looking at a guy that could use a change of scenery. Again, look, if you're looking at these trades, if the Red Sox want to actually get like some top-notch prospects, then you're going to have to get a third team involved. You're going to have to maybe get someone else on your roster involved. Maybe, I can't believe I'm saying this, but maybe a Christian Vasquez. He was involved in trade talks at the trade deadline with the Rays and even the Mets. Maybe a Christian Vasquez could be involved. Maybe you could include someone like a Bobby Dahlbeck or a Michael Chavis. Michael Chavis is a guy that could maybe use a change of scenery as well. He hasn't really gotten off to or he hasn't done very well since he first came up in 2019. He kind of faded down the stretch in 2019, and then 2020 was not a very good season. But if you're the Red Sox, if you want to get something big, you're going to have to include another guy. So they're not going to be able to get rid of Martinez. As much as I would like if they could find a deal for Martinez, that would be awesome. But you're going to have to get a guy involved like a Chavis. And even that, I wonder how much that could get you. Maybe a Dahlback, but I don't see them parting with Dahlback. He did really well this year when he came up. So, I don't know. I don't really see the Red Sox being able to include a lot of players. The only guy really is Chavis, or you can get a third team involved. I don't know. So, we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening with Andrew Benintendi. But let me refresh the screen. Let me see if there are any more updates. Nope, no more updates as of 7:23. So again, right now, the word around the league is, or at least for Mike Feinson of MLB.com, he would be shocked if the Red Sox don't trade Benintendi before the end of the weekend. Actually, does he have a tweet? What did the tweet say? Rival executive familiar with Red Sox thinking said he would be, so he was told this from someone else. So a rival executive. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's actually take a look at some of these tweets. Let's kind of see what people on here are saying. Why trade him with his lowest value ever? You're going to get squat in return just to save salary. I think with Bloom, Chaim Bloom, in my opinion, is probably one of the best guys to make, this kind of a trade. I just think, he is a guy that can find those diamonds in the rough. He looks for those guys that have really not done very well in the minor leagues, but they show some promising things. Chaim Bloom would be the perfect person to get an Andrew Benintendi trade done for the Red Sox. So, it says here, I remember when the Red Sox said they wouldn't trade Benintendi straight up for Judge. That's funny. I remember that. Anyway, but that's all I have for Andrew Benintendi. But what are you guys thinking in the chat right now? Do you think the Red Sox should trade Andrew Benintendi? Give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down. Tell me what you think in the chat. I'd like to see what you guys have to say. Mike Doherty, Vasquez would bring the Sox the most interesting package back overall. Never know, he could be packaged with Benny to increase the return. I could see it. I mean, he was involved in trade talks at the deadline. Hey, Drew, what's going on? How you doing? And Drew with the thumbs down. Savage Gamer, thumbs up, thumbs down, so that's a maybe. Robbie, I tagged you in a Twitter comment. Go look at the post. I was just on here. I wasn't, no. Where is it? Didn't you tweet me earlier? Oh, okay. I see now. I see. Yes, we're going to talk about this tonight. So moving on. So again, I'm seeing a bit of a mix. Thumbs up, some thumbs downs. I wouldn't be opposed to keeping Benintendi. I would understand it, but I can understand trading him as well. Like, I can see both sides. It just, again, it really depends. I can already see it now, though. I can already see the casual fan reaction. I can see it now. If they trade Benintendi, that package you're going to get back for him. I'm sitting here going through all these trades, and I already know for a fact I'm not going to be even close. Chaim Bloom, I am telling you, is going to find the most random people. That's what he does. That's what Chaim Bloom does. He finds just these random prospects. Look at the draft in this year's past draft. He drafted Nick York. No one even knew who Nick York was. That's what Chaim Bloom does. And I can already see it now. People are going to be all up in arms. If he does get traded, they're going to look back at that package and they're going to be like, who the heck are these guys? So, and then everyone's going to freak out. But yeah, I think he does have something left. It does sound like something is close. So, but we're going to stick with the Red Sox here. We're going to stick with the Red Sox. So, I mean, what a time for me to be alive. I could talk about my Red Sox for a while here, and this is kind of cool. Like, I kind of like it. I like that I can talk about my Red Sox. I like that my garbage team is trying to make some moves. At least that's what the reports are telling us. So our next story, we're going to stay with the Red Sox since we're already talking about the Red Sox. And that is they are possibly ready to make a series of moves according to reports. It seems like every team has been quiet. The Padres have been the loudest team. The White Sox have been a very loud team this offseason. The Red Sox have kind of just been hanging back. They made the big trade last year with Mookie Betts, and this offseason, yeah, they brought in a Hunter Renfroe. Yeah, they brought in a Matt Andriese. But those aren't really moves that are going to, knock your socks off. But are the Red Sox ready to make some more moves? And that could be the case. So taking a look, let me pull up the report. Pulling up the report here. Hold on one second. I'm going to share my screen in just one moment. Here we go. Sharing the screen. Alrighty, according to Buster Olney, there is a sense, industry sources say, there is a sense that the Red Sox have talked about a ton of possibilities and are preparing for a series of moves before the start of spring training. They haven't done much yet, but the expectation is that they will put in they will put in an effort to upgrade the 2021 team. Oh, whoops, I didn't click on the actual tweet. All right, that's a little bigger. So, I'm already looking at this first tweet. This is hilarious. Rumor has it they're going to make a trade for Mookie Betts. Look at this sick edit I made. Oh, man. I'm going to cry, man. I'm going to cry. Oh, look at this one, too. Oh, man. Look at this. Come on, man. Oh, good times. Good times. Anyway, but Buster Olney, he is reporting the Red Sox, they're ready for some moves. Here's where I'm at right now with the Red Sox. I think I commented on this. Where's my tweet? I think I tweeted on this. What? Where is it? Here we go. So, this is kind of how I think. I wrote, people think he's actually going to make blockbuster moves and huge free agent signings. I would love it, but come on. We should all know by now if he makes moves, they will be for guys you've never heard of that haven't produced or were swept aside but show redeeming advanced numbers. That has been what Chaim Bloom has done. Until I see it, I'm not saying it can't happen. I don't know Chaim Bloom. I don't know anything. As I've said a million times, I have a potato for a brain. Arguably, maybe a cantaloupe for a brain. It's not very good in there. Not a lot of brain cells in there. But from what I have seen with Chaim Bloom, he made the Mookie Betts trade, and that's it. And you got back a Verdugo, you got back a Jeter Downs, but are those transcending kind of guys for the Red Sox? No, they gave away the transcending guy. So, I'm just saying, with Chaim Bloom, let me pull up that tweet again. This is a guy, I'm sorry, but according to his track record, he has not made a ton of moves. And I'm not saying he's not going to make a ton of moves, but what I'm saying is, if he does make moves, are they really going to be like these knock your socks off kind of moves? Are they going to go trade for a guy like Trevor Story? Probably not. Are they going to go trade for like a Kyle Hendricks? Probably not. How about a Chris Bryant? No, not going to happen. How about Javier Baez? Nope, that's not going to happen. How about a Joe Musgrove? Nope, probably not. Anytime you see these big names, or at least with me, I'm already thinking, Chaim Bloom's not going after that guy, because he hasn't. Because this is Chaim Bloom, from his track record alone, he does not go after these guys. So I don't think he's going to be making any blockbuster moves. Do I think they're going to make moves to upgrade the team? Absolutely. I just think proceed with caution here. I know this tweet has a lot of people excited. I mean, I'm just saying, even like Jared Carrabis, he got a little excited too. Mr. Jared Carrabis, what did he say? Mr. Jared Carrabis, he's a decent follow. Some people like him, some people don't. I'm a fan of Jared Carrabis. But right now, I mean, Jared, come on, man. You got to calm down. Oh, baby, talk dirty to me, Heim. Jared Carrabis, when we get that no-name guy, are you going to be saying this? I mean, I'm not saying Chaim Bloom's going to get a bad player. Chaim Bloom, he'll get a good player that, or at least good with the advanced numbers. You're going to get a guy where you're going to be like, who? Who's that guy? Just like he did when he drafted Nick York. Just like he did when he traded for Nick Pivetta and Connor Siebold. I'm just saying. I mean, these are guys where those are the kind of guys that Chaim Bloom is going to go after. I'm just saying. I don't know, man. I think people need to kind of calm down a little bit. When you see a tweet like this, like, yeah, you know, it's exciting. Sure. Like, as a Red Sox fan, like, okay, cool. It's nice to maybe see some moves to improve the team. But you got to pump the brakes a little bit. Have you been watching what Bloom has done ever since he came to the Red Sox? I'm not saying he won't make a big move. I'm not saying that. There is always a possibility for that, if it makes sense. He has even said that. Chaim Bloom has said that himself. If he sees a deal that makes sense, I mean, that's kind of the common thing that you're going to hear from general managers and president of baseball operation kind of guys. You're going to hear them say those kind of things. But really, with Chaim Bloom, I think he actually means that. I mean, if the deal makes sense to him, and Chaim Bloom, he operates a different way. He goes after these guys that are like diamond in the rough kind of guys that have struggled in the last couple of years. And, but they still show those redeeming qualities. Nick Pivetta is a perfect example. Nick Pivetta is a perfect example where he has struggled the last couple of years, but he had one of the best curveballs in the game. That's what Chaim Bloom looks for. Connor Siebold, not a top prospect by any means, but he has a really good changeup. And that's a guy who could be a serviceable guy in the rotation. He goes after, taking a look back at the, taking a look at who they had in the bullpen, Phillips Valdez. This was a guy he plucked from obscurity. When they brought in Phillips, I remember when this guy came on the mound, I remember people were tweeting, who the heck is this guy? Chaim Bloom, he got him from Texas. This was a guy where, how did they get him exactly? They claimed him off waivers. The Mariners, So the Mariners claimed him off waivers, and then they designated him for assignment. And then Chaim Bloom said, let's take a look at Phillips Valdez. And no one knew who he was. But he had a pretty decent year with Texas. If you actually take a look, Phillips Valdez, again, this was a Chaim Bloom move. This was, okay, so if you go back to 2019, look at the FIP. Look at his FIP in 2019, a 5.46. He was not very good. The ERA was a lot better, but he was giving up a lot of hits. He gave up 17 hits over 16 innings. He walked a lot of guys. In 2019, he walked 5 guys per 9. He was giving up some home runs. He was giving up a lot of hits, but the defense was helping him out. And also, but look at this one redeeming quality that he had. He had the 10 strikeouts per 9. That's what Chaim Bloom saw. If we go take a look at Baseball Savant, I'm telling you, I think Chaim Bloom, while he's sitting up every single night, sipping on his herbal tea, he's on Baseball Savant. I'm telling you, he's on Baseball Savant. But looking at Phillips Valdez, Again, you're probably wondering, why am I talking about Phillips Valdez? I'm talking about Phillips Valdez because these are the kind of players that Chaim Bloom goes after. So, taking a look. Look this year. They did something with him this year where the exit velocity was really good. He didn't give up a lot of exit velocity. He didn't give up a lot of hard hit balls. He had good spin rate on the fastball. If you go to 2019, when he struggled, again, there wasn't too much, but if you look here, it's not in red, and I'm wondering if that's because he didn't throw really a lot of innings. But if you look at the sinker, in 2019, he had 4.1 inches more movement compared to the average sinker that year. That's actually really good. I'm not surprised why that's not in red, or at least like a light red. Because that's pretty decent. That's not bad. But look at where he ranked this year with his pitches. He had a good sinker this year. He had a good slider. He had a good changeup. This is what Chaim Bloom does. He looks for these guys. He looks for these guys that just get designated for assignment, or guys that are hurt, or he looks for guys that are not going to cost a lot of money that can still give you something. Chaim Bloom is the coupon king. That is my nickname for Chaim Bloom. He loves his coupons. He loves his deals. Chaim Bloom, he is the one that's going to go straight to the clearance rack when you go into a clothing store. He's going to look at the clothing rack. He's going to go to that clearance rack, and he's going to look, and he's going to hold up a shirt, and he's going to say, "Wow, $50 off of this shirt, but it's still made with the finest cotton in the land. Of course I'm going to buy this shirt." So that's what Chaim Bloom does. I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying those are the deals that he makes. So, getting back to the story at hand, yeah, this is exciting. But really, what are the Red Sox really going to make, blockbuster kind of moves? I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I think they could make solid moves, but this is why they brought Bloom in. They brought Bloom in to make good signings and good trades that don't cost a lot of money. The Red Sox are trying to get away from spending. John Henry, if you go back years ago, John Henry, remember when he wanted to sign someone by the name of Billy Beane? He had made an offer to Billy Beane. What was Billy Beane known for? Moneyball. He wanted Billy Beane very badly. He was going to make Mr. Beane the highest paid general manager in the land, but Billy Beane wanted to stay with the Athletics. So, Chaim Bloom is the guy that John Henry, the owner of the Red Sox, has been wanting for years. And he got him. Just saying. So, while this is nice, until I see a huge move, until I see a huge signing or a huge trade with a transcendent kind of a guy, until I see it, I'm not believing it. Yes, I believe they can make a ton of moves, but I don't think they're going to be huge blockbuster kind of moves. I think you could see some solid moves. So, but those are my thoughts on that. So, everyone, what do you think about that? Do you think Chaim Bloom is going to make any blockbuster signings, any blockbuster trades? Tell me in the chat. Give me a thumbs up if you think Chaim Bloom is going to do that, or give me a thumbs down. Tell me what you think. All righty. BZ Baseball with the thumbs down. Rocky Balboa can't save those guys. The Phillies? Oh, I'd love to have Rocky Balboa. Paul Carsini. Hey, I mean, not trying to get political, but Trump could use a job eventually. I mean, it seems that's the way it's going. So, yeah, why not? Let's sign on Trump. Let's get him. He can be Chaim Bloom's partner in crime. Yeah, Paul Corsini going to be on the Extreme Couponing Show. I could see. I bet that was Bloom's favorite show. The Great Bambino, Blue Jays have players and a team I'd rather root for than the Padres. You know, the Blue Jays, I think they're going to be a pretty exciting team. I think they got a lot of young talent. I like what they have. They're going to be a nuisance of a team. Look out for the Orioles, too. I think the Orioles could be a bit of a nuisance this year. All right, so we are seeing some thumbs downs. We're seeing mostly thumbs downs. Noah Wright, you think, okay, maybe he can make some kind of a decent move. Yeah, David Knight, you're thinking thumbs down. Matthew Bradigan, can I manage the Phillies? I will most likely make that team a lot worse. I think Joe Girardi is going to do a lot better than me. So, all right, everyone. Let's move on to our next two stories. We're going to get through these next two kind of quick. I took up a lot of time talking about the Red Sox. So, our next story, we are going to, since we talked about the Phillies a little earlier, we're going to stick with the Phillies. And the Phillies are still keeping tabs on Didi Gregorious. So, the story of this offseason is that Didi Gregorious, you were probably thinking, well, he's probably not going back to the Phillies because the story of the offseason is that the Phillies don't have any money. And so everyone thought, well, JT Realmuto, he's going to go to the Mets now. He's going to go to the Angels now, the Blue Jays, maybe the Yankees. But that never happened. And JT Realmuto is still sitting out there with all the other free agents. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they brought in Dave Dombrowski. And so, I don't know, it's confusing times in Philadelphia right now. And I'm not surprised to see them keep tabs on Didi Gregorious. That's always a hard name for me to say. But they need a shortstop. And Didi was really good for them last year. He's not going to be a transcendent glove at short, but he's going to be a very good offensive player. And I think he would be great to hang on to if you could keep him for cheap. So I think he's going to get a decent amount of money. But going to the story, here we go. I have so many tabs open. Here we go. Sharing the screen. Alrighty. So, the hiring of Dave Dombrowski as the Phillies' new president of baseball operations brought renewed hope that the team could re-sign JT Realmuto, though the Phils still haven't made an official offer to Realmuto. The Phillies continue to be engaged in discussions with Realmuto and his representatives, but the team is also doing the same with another of its high-profile free agents, shortstop Didi Gregorious. So if we take a look at Didi, there's no surprise here that the Phillies maybe want to hang on to him. He did really well in a short season. He came off Tommy John surgery, but he had a really good year offensively. Hit 284, had the 10 home runs, had the 40 RBIs, had an 827 OPS. He was decent in the field. He wasn't special by any means, but, you know, he gets the job done out there at short. He's a good clubhouse guy. He's been close with Girardi for a long time now, going back to their time with the Yankees. So Didi Gregorious, I think this would be huge if they can hang on to him. So if we go take a look at the Phillies depth chart right now, right now their option for shortstop is Gene Segura. So Gene Segura, as of right now, you could move him back to short. You could have Scott Kingery play second. So they do have an internal fix already, but I'll tell you right now, Gene Segura has not been very good defensively at shortstop. He's been better defensively at second base. So I think with Didi, I think if you bring him back, you're going to be able to keep that good defense intact. I think with the Phillies, they have a good offense. They have a good offense with a Didi Gregorious, but their only problem was they didn't have a lot of starting pitching depth. They could use more starting pitching in my opinion, but the bullpen was just so bad. And that's why I think with the Phillies, they really could have used a guy like a Liam Hendriks, but you know, you still got other guys out there. Alex Colomé still sitting out there. You got Trevor Rosenthal still sitting out there. You could take a chance on a Kirby Yates. That's my updated prediction for Kirby Yates, is to go to the Phillies because most likely he could be pretty cheap. And hey, the Phillies, I mean, according to them, they don't want to spend a lot of money. Maybe they're trying to hang on to as much money as they can to be able to get a Realmuto deal done and a Gregorious deal done. So maybe that's possible, but maybe Kirby Yates could be a good option for them. He has been hurt in the last year, so, or at least this past season he was hurt in 60 games. But again, they could use a Didi. I'm not surprised. I think eventually JT Realmuto is going to go back. But that's just my opinion. And here we go. Moving on to our last story. moving on to our last story, and that's Brad Hand. We have talked about him a little bit in past streams. So Brad Hand, I think the market, you're going to see the market start picking up for him because Liam Hendriks is now off the market. So Brad Hand was a very good closer last year for the Indians. He blew it in the wild card round against the Yankees, but Brad Hand was still really good. Yeah, the velocity's kind of dipped in the last couple of years, but Brad Hand has still been able to find a way to get it done. But taking a look, here we go. Taking a look here at 3:30, Hand is indeed discussing multi-year deals with teams. I'm not surprised about that. I'm actually not surprised. A lot of people were kind of wondering, like, wow, a lot of teams passed up on Brad Hand for that one. How much was he going to be making this year? $10 million, because they put him on waivers, and then no one picked him up off waivers. But I really don't think that has a lot to do with what teams think of Brad Hand. I think they wanted to maybe get him signed to a multi-year deal instead. I mean, I guess you could have picked up a Brad Hand if you wanted to, but teams didn't want to pay him the $10 million. I think they want to pay him a smaller average salary, but give him more years. So instead of like a 1-year, $10 million deal, you could do like a 3-year, $18 million deal or something like that, where you get $6 million per year instead of 10, or maybe like $8 million per year, maybe like 3 years, $24 million, something like that. So, but there's a lot of teams. The Mets, 11:53 a.m. today, the Mets' interest in lefty Brad Hand was already known. So I could definitely see the Mets going after him. They brought in Trevor May. So that could be an arm for that bullpen as well. They really need to add some arms to that bullpen. I could definitely see Brad Hand going to Queens. There's a whole bunch of other teams out there. The Phillies could use a Brad Hand. Could the White Sox maybe want to still bring him in? Maybe bring in another arm for the bullpen. Maybe the Dodgers. They signed Blake Treinen, but maybe the Dodgers still want to keep adding to that bullpen. So there's a lot of teams out there. Honestly, I do wonder if my Red Sox will get in on him. I wonder about that. It depends on what the price is going to be. But taking a look at Brad Hand, this is kind of what you're looking at. I got to keep Baseball Savant open. I want to take a look at kind of what you're going to be getting with a Brad Hand. Let's take a look at the advanced numbers. You got Archie Bradley out there as well, too. So pretty excited to see where Archie Bradley goes. But Brad Hand, he's got the good expected numbers. He's got the good WOBA. He's got the good slugging. He gets it done. He just doesn't have a lot of velocity, not a lot of spin rate on the curveball, but he has good fastball spin rate. That's what makes him good. Yeah, the velocity has been kind of dipping. If you take a look at the velocity over the last couple of years, where is the velocity? Velocity. I see exit velocity, but where's the velocity? His spin rate has actually... Spin rate 24.53. So his spin rate actually went up a little bit this past year. Maybe he's putting a little more pine tar on those fingers, huh? But if you take a look here, I mean, he's getting so much movement on the slider. Look at the four-seamer getting a ton of horizontal movement. The sinker getting a lot of movement. So he gets a lot of movement on those pitches. So he really doesn't need a lot of velocity. Where is velocity? I want to take a look at his average velocity over the last few years. Percentile. Okay, so if you take a look, at least I can see here the fastball velocity rankings. So in the last couple of years, he was in 2018. He was at the 64th percentile, and then 2019 he dipped about 20%, and then again he dipped about another 30%. So, here we go. Here's the velocity. So if you take a look in 2017, he was averaging 93.4 miles an hour. Same thing in 2018, right around there. And then 2019, he dipped to 92.7. And then in 2020, he dipped to 91.4. So that's why a lot of people are giving Brad Hand a lot of flack. But I still think this would be a great arm for this bullpen. So this would be an awesome guy to have in your bullpen, especially from the left side. I would love to have a Brad Hand in my bullpen. So, going to be interesting to see what teams end up getting him. Still, a lot of teams could sign him. I think the Mets would be a great fit. The Blue Jays could use another arm. I could see Brad Hand going to the Blue Jays. Why not? I mean, they could definitely use an arm for that bullpen. Why not? I think Brad Hand would actually be a good get, especially now that Liam Hendriks is off the market. Look out for a Brad Hand to the Blue Jays. I could see that happening. But there's a lot of other teams. Maybe the Yankees could pick him up. There's a lot of teams out there. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, David Knight, he is a lefty, and that's another thing going for him as well, along with all the spin rate that he has, the good movement on his pitches. So, and he's a lefty. So these lefties, they kind of tend to last a little longer. So, Landon, what are your thoughts on Andrew Benintendi? I went into Andrew Benintendi so long a little bit ago, but just a quick recap of what I was talking about. I think for the Red Sox, if they're going to trade him, I think Chaim Bloom is the right guy to look for a trade for him, because Chaim Bloom, he loves to find value in these like no-name kind of guys that you haven't really heard of. So I think Chaim Bloom is the perfect guy to make an Andrew Benintendi trade. I would love to also keep Andrew Benintendi. I'm kind of fine with whatever. It's because I trust Bloom. While I'll pick on him a little bit because I call him the coupon king and he loves shopping in the clearance rack. I'll give him, some flack for that. But at the end of the day, Chaim Bloom is a very intelligent guy. He's made a lot of good moves. He did great work with the Rays. I trust Chaim Bloom. And whatever move they decide to make, Chaim Bloom is our guy, and I trust him. And I know a lot of people are going to sit there and they're going to complain if Benintendi gets traded. But when Mookie Betts got traded, I was kind of okay. I was not against trading him because it made a lot of sense to trade him. And so we'll have to see what he ends up doing with Benintendi. There's a lot of teams he could go to. I wonder if the Marlins would still be in the mix. I don't think the Phillies are going to be in the mix. I would be surprised about that. That one person mentioned it, and I'm like, I don't know about the Phillies. I don't know. You could see maybe the Rangers. The Astros could definitely use a left fielder. The Cardinals, I think that would be interesting. The Cardinals could be a good fit as well. I think for the I lost track of what I was saying. For Benintendi, for them to be able to get a really good package in return for a Benintendi, I think you are. Let me come back to you. I think with Benintendi, I think you're going to have to package him. You're going to have to include a guy with him if you want to get a good return. He's not going to get a huge return on his own. He has dipped over the last couple of years in a lot of areas. Everything is just off with him right now offensively. He's been losing speed. If you go look at the sprint speed numbers on Baseball Savant. So he's losing a lot of value in the last couple of years. So I'm wondering if Bloom is thinking, all right, well, this is probably the time to trade him, just in case. So, I would love to see him stay and try and have a bounce back year. But at the same time, I can also understand if they think it's time to move on from him, because who knows what ends up happening with him. I mean, sure, you want to try and work with him, but maybe they think they can't do any more with him. Maybe they just think he's so far gone that he needs to have a new start somewhere. We'll have to see how it goes. Liam West, I forgot your shout out. Was I supposed to shout you out? Liam West, what is going on? Oh, I was supposed to shout out someone. Oh wait, was that you? Liam West, I can't remember I'm so bad with names. Hold on, let me go back to, because someone on Baseball Trade, yes, that was you. I'm so sorry, Liam West. Thank you so much. Yes, everyone, Liam West, he makes awesome trades on Baseball Trade Values. I love that trade. I thought it was so, at first I was just like, huh? Who are these guys? And then I looked into it and I was like, oh, wow, I kind of like these guys a little bit. So, and it seemed like a trade that Chaim Bloom would make. Let me actually go back to that one. So yeah, just like I said, Liam West, I have a brain of a potato. So you got to remind me, man. You got to remind me. Where was that trade? Oh, wait, no, I didn't make the trade. What am I doing? Am I going to be able to find it? Oh, my God. People have been using this thing so much. Or actually, if I type in Benintendi, I can probably pull it up. I love this website, but I think they got to do some things with this website where they need to make it a little more accessible. It's not the most user-friendly thing. It's just like little things that I would adjust with this site. All right. I will also say this site tends to take a long time to load. Look at this trade while we're waiting. Jose Ramirez for just a boatload of prospects right here. Jose Ramirez for Tony Gonsolin, Cody Hosey, Bobby Miller, Edwin Rios, and Diego Cartaya. Some of these trades, man, I've done a couple of those too, so I can't sit here and knock that guy. But, all right, here we go. I'm going to see if I can pull it up real quick. Again, this website takes a little bit to load. All right, so I'm sorting it by most likes. I think Liam, I think yours had a lot of likes. Had a good amount of likes. Here we go. Wasn't that one? Oh, no, that's a featured one. So I think I just found a bit of a glitch with this website. I tried to sort it by most likes, and it's giving me these ones that have downvotes. Okay, so it's sorting it by the most downvotes? Ah, dude, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this. There's so many. And there's probably so many in the last... oh, my God. Here, let me put Cardinals. Goodness gracious. Baseball trade values. If the person running this... What is his name again? I think his name's John. If you can, man, try and speed up this website just a little bit. All right, let's see if I can find this trade. Oh, my God. Where? Okay, whatever. Let's just go by newest. Or actually, yours had a lot of comments. I think I had like 11 comments. See, this is kind of annoying because we got to... Oh, here it is. Here it is. There it is. All right, so here's the trade. I was talking about this. You know, I could definitely see Bloom making this kind of a trade too. This is the kind of package I think you're going to get for just Benintendi. I think if you include a guy like maybe a Chavis, I don't know if you're going to get too much for Chavis or how much teams would want him, or maybe a Christian Vasquez. I think if you attach a Christian Vasquez to a Benintendi, I definitely think, yeah. So you could definitely get a good amount of value. But I really like this. Fernandez, he's a hard-throwing guy. Woodford, he shows some promise as a starter. He's got some good advanced metrics. I like this. I don't know, it depends on what the Cardinals would want to do. I do wonder if the Red Sox would want to get back like an O'Neill or a Lane Thomas. Or a Tyler O'Neill and a Lane... I almost said Paul O'Neill, and I'm thinking... I just had Yankee flashbacks in my head. I wonder if the Red Sox would want to get a Tyler O'Neill or a Lane Thomas in this kind of a trade. I don't know, but then that's basically like a straight up trade at that point because they're pretty similar in values. So I wonder. But I think with Bloom, he would look for kind of guys like this. So I like this trade, man. But yeah, if you're on baseball trade values and you ever see D Cox 0139 or Liam West in the chat, make sure you take a look at his trades because he makes some. That was a good trade. I like this one. I would still love to get an Alex Reyes, man. I would still love Alex Reyes if we could find a way to get him. You know, it's kind of funny because they have like really similar values. I would love Alex Reyes, man. That guy throws gas. I would love it. But again, would the Cardinals want to give him up? Probably not, I would imagine. But on paper, it does work. If you go look at the Cardinals. I think Reyes was like right around the same value. Yeah. They are both literally 5.3. They are both literally 5.3. I would do this. I would literally do this. I would. If it was straight up, I would absolutely do this. I don't know if the Cardinals would do this. Reyes throws hard, man. This could be like your future closer. I wonder. But would the Cardinals want to hang on to him? Just thank you, AK Vlogs. They do got Hicks coming back next year. So maybe they want those two in that bullpen. That would be nasty in that bullpen. You got two guys just throwing straight gas. So we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening here. But everyone, that is all I got for tonight. I'm thinking it's time for me to get out of here. So we got to keep an eye on what happens with Andrew Benintendi. Again, the Red Sox, looks like they're in the news a lot right now. According to Busteroni, they're ready to make a lot of moves. Do I think they're going to make a blockbuster kind of a move? I don't think so, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that turns out. We'll have to. I mean, we're still waiting on these other guys: DJ LeMahieu, George Springer, Trevor Bauer. This has been a grueling offseason, not just for the players, but for us too. So we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening. Everyone, I want to thank you for coming out to another night of baseball news. Jeff Graw, I want to thank you so much for the $100 super chat. I am so grateful for that. That is like unbelievable. I'm gonna take a picture of that for memory's sake, because that is awesome. $100 super chat. So, but yeah, thank you so much again, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out. Appreciate it. And everyone, if there is any more baseball news for tomorrow night, I'll be right back here in this seat with my ugly face looking into this camera. So, yeah, let's call it a night. Everyone, thank you for coming out, and whoops, and have a good night.